All right, don't know what happened there with our intro video, but nonetheless, we are live. We are live. I'll let the program now. Well, hello, welcome to the Movie Paradise Show. I'm your host, Nathanael Molnár. I'm joined co-host Rob Giachinta. Thanks so much for having us. I hit the button and then it was just black screen. But we're here now, and this is our first episode of the new year, first one of 2020. I'm very excited. Because while we may have some changes coming to the show in the next couple of months,
someone's getting fired.
Someone's getting the axe, and it's going to be the guy who's working the computers. We may end up changing the time in which we do our show, mainly because I'm getting a new job. I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. So there might be some changes coming for the new year, but nonetheless, the show's going to stay the same. We're going to keep trying to improve the graphics, keep trying to improve the show. And we got more things coming for the Movie Paradise this year, which I'm very excited about. We are officially bringing back Movie Night Tonight, which we should be recording our first episode of which today. I'm very excited to bring that back. And I will also be launching a new podcast series called Film Thoughts, which I've done in the past, but I'm going to be doing that as a weekly show. So looking out in 2020, we should be having 3 things a week. Film Thoughts once a week, Movie Night Tonight once a week, and then the Movie Paradise Show once a week as well. So it's going to be a good year. I'm looking forward to it. What do you say, Rob? We talk about some movies.
Well, that's the name of the show.
That is the name of the show. And we have a whole bunch of things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Disney having a record-breaking 2019 and all the records that they set. We're going to be talking about Deadpool 3 is going to be made, according to Ryan Reynolds, by Marvel. We're going to talk about that Quiet Place 2 trailer. We're also going to give our go or no-go quick reviews for Cats.
Good one.
That's going to be fun. Uncut Gems and The Grudge. And then we're going to talk about our top 10 most anticipated movies of 2020, and then we're going to take the live questions from the chat once we get to that part of the show after the main topic. So let's just get right into it, and we're going to talk about this. Rob, did you hear Disney had a record-breaking 2019 at the box office? Like, literally, they just broke records left and right.
I mean, it was expected.
Yeah. I don't know if we expected...
I thought it would be this big. I don't know. What was the only ones that Dumbo didn't do that great, and was that it?
Maybe there might have been another one in there that kind of underperformed.
Well, Toy Story was big, Lion King was big, Avengers was big. Do they have another more? Spider-Man was big, even though that's not really theirs. Frozen was big.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they really didn't have any missteps.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look real quick. So
you have the numbers.
I have the numbers. I have the numbers. So this is what we're working with. So this is the box office records for Disney in 2019. They had 6 films that made over $1 billion. That's never happened before from one studio. Now, I put the asterisk there by 6 because it's most likely that Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is going to cross $1 billion. It has not yet. So if it does, that will make 7 films that Disney put out in a single year that made over $1 billion, which is crazy. And there were movies that we weren't expecting to make $1 billion. No one was thinking Aladdin was going to make $1 billion.
Yeah, it did look horrible. So yeah, I didn't think that one would.
Yeah, they had a bunch of surprise ones in there. So they ultimately made, at the domestic box office, Disney made $3.76 billion. And then worldwide, they made $7.35 billion, both of which are records in of themselves, for a collective total of $11.1 billion at the worldwide box office. Now, if you include the Fox movies that came out this year, because even though they weren't produced and made by Disney, all those profits still went to Disney. You're looking at $13.1 billion for Disney's box office accumulation. And what's really interesting is, so 13.1 is the number with the Fox movies. The record before, no studio had made over 10 billion. So they put 3 billion on top of the record at the time. We're looking at all those numbers, 6, almost probably 7 films that will make over $1 billion. You're looking at the domestic numbers, the worldwide numbers, 11.1 for Disney produced films, 13.1 including Fox. Rob, this has been an incredible year for Disney. What do you think of all this?
Again, like I kind of expected the numbers to be pretty huge. I mean, you had a highly anticipated movie like a Toy Story 4. Mm-hmm. You had Avengers, which many predicted would be one of the biggest films of all time, and it now is. You had Star Wars, which has a built-in kind of like big audience.
Yeah.
You have these classic Disney movies that were being remade, like The Lion King and Aladdin, and then you have Frozen 2, which the first Frozen was bananas. So I'm not like shocked about this at all. I mean, I'm happy for them. I think they produced a lot of good films this year.
Yeah.
So hopefully they keep giving us good content.
Yeah. The other stat that I didn't put on there, which I think is a very interesting one.
Oh, Captain Marvel too was the other one I forgot about.
Yeah, Captain Marvel. No, I don't think people were expecting that one to really make $1 billion. Maybe up until right when we got the movie, and then it kind of things changed. But beforehand, if you talked to us a year beforehand, would we have ever guessed that Captain Marvel or Aladdin would have been making $1 billion? I don't think so. It's really incredible. And the one stat that I didn't put on there was that 1 out of 3 movie tickets sold the entire year was for a Disney movie. Now, an interesting thing, and I want to get your opinion on this. I have heard a lot of people online talking about this, like saying, oh, Disney's such a monopoly. You know, Disney, like, the fact that they're getting 1 out of 3 tickets, they're making all this money. Disney is a monopoly in the film industry. And for me, I would say if they were producing 1 out of 3 movies made, that would constitute a monopoly. But since the film industry is a free market, people can choose which movies to see.
I guarantee you Warner Brothers had just as many movies made as Disney did this year.
Maybe even more so.
Yeah, like I can already think of, like, they had Joker, Richard Jewell, The Goldfinch. These are just all in the last couple months.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's I think there's the difference between the amount of films produced and then the amount of money the studio makes. Because all I think this is a referendum on is how much people like Disney's films, how much people like Marvel movies, how much people like Star Wars movies, how much people like Disney animated like Frozen, how much people like Pixar. These numbers are evidence that people are enjoying Disney content. And maybe there are definitely people out there who don't enjoy these movies. And from the outside, they may look at it and say, oh, Disney's such a monopoly. They're making all this money. And it's like, well, no, because no one's holding a gun to your head to say, go see this movie or don't go see this movie. We are free to choose which movies we want to see. And this just shows that a lot of people chose to spend their money to go see Disney movies. And I think that's evidence that Disney's making movies that people really like.
And we're not even including all the money they probably made off of Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, or the theme parks or anything like that. Disney's just making.
How much did Noel make on opening weekend?
That we don't talk about. That we don't talk about. But anyways, I thought this was worth talking about because this is like. These are, like, across the board, all sorts of box office records being broken by Disney this past year, which I don't think is going to happen for a little while longer. I don't think they have a strong enough slate to be able to do something like this.
Once in 7 years, when we get Toy Story 5, Avengers 5,
Star Wars
2,
7. Yeah. Once we get all those, definitely. So anyways, question is, guys, what do you think? Are you surprised that Disney made broke all these records and made all this money? Or are you more like Rob, where you kind of saw the writing on the wall and it's not as surprising? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And now we move on to our next Did You Hear topic. Did you hear? Marvel is making Deadpool 3. According to Ryan Reynolds, in an interview, he said, Marvel is making Deadpool 3. Which I don't think is a huge surprise, because we all knew the Deadpool series was a financially successful series. The last 2 ones both made north of $700 million. And then Joker just came out and became the first R-rated billion-dollar film. There's clearly, and now DC is kind of going more into the R-rated territory with Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad. There is certainly a thirst out there for R-rated comic book content. And Deadpool kind of spearheaded that new age of R-rated comic book content. And Disney was sitting in a position where they had a viable franchise that maybe they wouldn't make $2 billion like they would with Avengers, but they're knowing if we put out a Deadpool movie and it's got the same team and it has the same sort of style as the original films that people like, if we put that out, we could make $700-800 million. And I think that it was almost a no-brainer that they were going to do the third one. The question is it in the MCU? Is it outside of the MCU? Is it PG-13? Is it R? So, Rob, because I know you really liked the first one and the second one disappointed you. I really enjoyed the second one. Mm-hmm. But what's your excitement level for Deadpool 3, and what do you think Marvel is going to do with it now in relation to their MCU?
I would still see a third one just because I liked the first one so much. Do you actually, like, how much stock do you take in these comments, to be honest with you, Byron?
By Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
I don't think Ryan Reynolds...
I feel like he's just always saying, like, oh, yeah, it's getting made. Like, oh, yeah. Because, like, I just feel like they're just put on the spot and they have to answer these questions. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily believe we're anywhere close to getting a Deadpool 3, to be honest with you.
Because the thing is, I think Ryan Reynolds has commented about this before, and, like, I remember when the deal happened, he posted a meme or something. Yeah. Like, but I don't think he has ever, since this whole Fox deal's happened, gone as far to say, yeah, Marvel is making it. Mm-hmm. And so I think, you know, if it's some unverified source, some anonymous Reddit person, but Ryan Reynolds saying, yeah, Marvel is making it. Granted, I'd feel a little more comfortable if Kevin Feige came out, but it could very well be that they're keeping it under wraps, and then Ryan Reynolds is like, oh yeah, we're making it, and then Kevin Feige's like, well, let's just not comment on it yet until we have all of our ducks in a row.
I hope it gets made, because I think it would make sense for the studio. I think you could make a lot of money with something like this, and it doesn't necessarily cost like the price of an Avengers movie or something like that.
You can make it for very low budget.
Yeah, I think they should definitely do it, and I think they should just keep it as its own thing, too. Yeah. I don't even think they should... There's no reason to involve it with the Avengers. They already got their own thing. This would just make it even more complicated.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think the way that you could do it is don't have Deadpool showing up in an Avengers movie or Spider-Man or anything like that. But I think as part of the meta nature of Deadpool, have Chris Evans show up in the Deadpool movie. And you'll never have Deadpool kind of cross over into the other stuff, but he can always, just the same way that he made references about the other X-Men characters, and then, you know, you had the 1 second cameo in Deadpool 2 of all the X-Men. You can do stuff like that just with Marvel now. And I think Deadpool could serve a purpose as a fun sort of comedic commentary on the MCU as we're going. And I think that the writing team behind Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds as the character, I think it's all too good for Disney to just throw out the window. And I agree. I think
I will say I do think there might be a chance we never see another one. That's all I'll put out there.
So it's not 100% confirmed. Yeah. It will be once Kevin Feige goes out there and he's got the Phase 5 map and it pops up Deadpool 3 or whatever it may be, however they announce this. It's not certain yet. But I'd say with these comments by Ryan Reynolds, and I wish I had the actual quote ready to go so that we could actually look at what he actually said. But it seems like it's more confirmed than not, is how I kind of look at it. But obviously, anything could happen. They could pull the plug at any time. We don't know. So, question is, what do you guys think? Do you think a Deadpool 3 is actually coming? And if it is, do you think that Marvel is going to put Deadpool in the MCU, make him PG-13? Do you think they'll keep him outside of the MCU? Do you think they'll do kind of what I'm talking about, where he's outside of the MCU and won't appear in Avengers movies, but you can have some MCU characters pop up in his movie? What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And now we move on here to a segment on the Movie Paradise show called Trailer Talk. And how Trailer Talk works is that every week there's a bunch of different trailers that pop up, and we like to take one or two of them and talk about them here on the show. And the one we're going to be talking about is another movie we'll be talking about a little bit later when we talk about the movies of 2020, and that is A Quiet Place Part 2. So I think we were both huge fans of the original Quiet Place.
My favorite movie of the year.
Favorite movie of the year. I think it was my second favorite movie of the year. Just behind the brilliance of A Star Is Born. But
I thought you liked Ready Player One was your number, or maybe not.
No, Star Is Born was 1, Quiet Place was 2, and Ready Player One was 3. For that year, for 2018. But I know, for me at least, when they said they were doing Quiet Place 2, I was like, all right. You know, if that's what they want to do, if it's John Krasinski directing, if it's the same team, I'm interested, but it wouldn't have been my first choice to see a sequel. We get the trailer now. For me at least, it got me pretty excited.
They got some good ideas.
Yeah. I love the idea. I hope they don't do it for too much of the movie, but I love the idea of going back to day one. Because they established the whole day idea in the first movie of day whatever, and then day whatever.
I bet that'll be like the first, I bet that'll almost be like a cold open for the movie, and then we'll get back to the, I mean, that's just my prediction.
And there's the way that they shot it, with the one continuous shot inside of the car, you just see all this chaos erupting around them. I was like, that's great. I just hope they don't fall into the trap of trying to explain too much, give us too much of an origin, give us too much, what are these aliens? Because part of the greatness of it was you don't know, and the characters don't know.
I hope there's not a lot of, like talking in the movie, too, you know what I mean? I hope they, can utilize just the silence and stuff like that, because, just by watching the trailer, there was a lot of dialogue in this trailer compared to the first trailer for the first movie, so we'll see. Cillian Murphy looks awesome.
Yeah, and Jaimin Hansu too. Yeah, I'm excited to see them in it, and I'm interested to see what does John Krasinski do when he's completely behind the camera. I mean,
and
I think
he wrote the script. It was just him this time. He wouldn't work with Woods and Beck.
Yeah, so he's he's a lot more. He's deeper into this.
He's got his ass on the line.
Yeah, and so I think. While the first one definitely showed he has incredible directing talent, and he knows what he's doing with these sorts of films and the tension and everything like that, he's going in deeper in this one. And I think this will be a real testament to just how talented is John Krasinski. And I'm very interested to see it. I don't think it needs to be as good as the first one. Nor do I think it will be as good as the first one. Because I think part of the first one was the novelty of it. Yeah. And that added to how much we all enjoyed it. But I think there's a lot of potential for this one, and I'm very interested to see it.
Me too.
And we will probably talk a little bit more about Quiet Place 2 later on in the show. But anyways, question is, what do you guys think? Did you like the trailer, the first trailer for Quiet Place Part 2? Are you excited for it? Are you feeling like they didn't really need to do this one? They kind of told this story well enough with the first one. This feels a little bit unnecessary. Though, honestly, any sequel's ultimately unnecessary.
Unless, the first one ends with, a cliffhanger.
Yeah, what this one kind of did.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But, so anyways, we'll see. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And we move on here to our first installment of Go or No Go. And how Go or No Go works is we see films, new releases, and we talk about real quick whether we think you should go see the movie, or no go, as in you don't really have to waste your time. And the first one we're going to talk about is such a fun time at the theater. And I already even added in the thing our ratings of it. We're talking about Cats, folks. Rob, tell us all, what was your experience with Cats?
Cats is a movie, I'll keep this short and sweet. Cats is a movie that should have never been a movie. It should have stayed a stage play production. The CGI is horrible. Nothing is to scale. There is no story. There is no plot. There is no rhyme. There is no reason. Everybody is in a different movie, and it's just a hour and 50-minute waste of your time. Do not go see it. I give this a no-go.
Wow, beautiful. So succinct.
And that's all I have to say. I don't want to talk about this movie again.
I echo everything you say, pretty much. You know, when we're at the scene where Rebel Wilson unzips her fur, revealing a costume underneath, and there are cockroaches running around and mice with kids' faces on them, I knew that we were watching, as Martin Scorsese would define, true cinema. This movie is horrible. I agree with everything Rob said. And that's the thing. When we're watching this, I've never seen the production of Cats. Really, I went in knowing nothing about it. And
don't give them credit for the songs. These songs were already established. They made one new song for the movie.
Yeah.
So
it's just I can see how it would work much better as a stage play, as a Broadway production, and it just does not translate into film. No. There's no story. I didn't retain 50% of the lyrics of what they were even saying. I don't know what was it Jezebel, Jellicle cat? Jellicle. I don't they were singing for
cats, the Jellicle.
For the whole movie they were singing about Jellicle cats. I couldn't tell you what they are. I couldn't tell you any of the traits. I was going to say Meryl Streep. Thank God she wasn't in this. Judi Dench with her wedding ring. That was horrible.
Maybe she was married.
Hands.
Maybe she was a married cat.
And then Ian McKellen. He was one of the funniest parts of the movie. Like, I don't know. Ugh. All right, we should stop talking about cats.
Yeah.
No-go. I give it a no-go as well.
Don't watch it at home either.
Yeah, don't waste time.
Well, okay. If you want to watch it for a laugh,
go
ahead. But don't spend money on it. If you have A-list and you want to go have a laugh, then go. But
yeah. Which is what we did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it ended up screwing me because I ended up having to pay for a movie that week.
So essentially you paid for cats.
Yeah.
If you think about it that way. Anyways, question is, what do you guys think? Have any of you had the unfortunate pleasure, I guess?
Judging by the box office?
No. To see Cats. Have you seen it? If you have, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. No spoilers, please. Although, maybe spoil the movie so that people won't go see it if someone was going to go see it. So leave your thoughts in the comment section below.
Maybe spoil. What is there to spoil? There is no plot. There's nothing in this movie. There is not. If you listen to all the songs, you'd spoil the movie. Like, if you just listen to the soundtrack, you would spoil the movie.
That's it. There's nothing else going on. There's cats disappearing.
Yeah,
that's it. There we go.
That's the only part that's not in the play that's in the movie.
Yeah.
Everything else is the play.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Let's stop talking about cats. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I won't read it because I don't want to hear anything more about this movie, but leave your thoughts in the comment section.
To see what Rich has to say.
Yeah. All right, and we move on to our next go or no-go, and that is for the new Adam Sandler Safdie brothers film, Uncut Gems. Now, we did kind of do a go or no-go a little bit earlier, a couple months ago, when you saw Uncut Gems, but I wanted to do another one since I just had the chance to see the film. So, Rob, I know Uncut Gems was one of your most anticipated of the year because you loved Good Time by the Safdie brothers. You're rooting for the Sandman as always.
As always.
What was your take on Uncut Gems?
Real great triumphant for this Adam Sandler. I think this is finally starting to get respect by the masses, I feel like. And it's doing really good at the box office, and I'm happy about that. And the movie's really good, too. I even enjoyed it more the second time I saw it. Just because, there's little things here and there you might miss. I mean, I won't necessarily spoil them, but Adam Sandler, I think, gives a really great performance in this movie. And just the whole frantic nature of this movie is what really draws you in. It's a kind of just an edge-of-your-seat kind of thrill ride from beginning to end. And by the end of it, you just kind of feel exhausted in a way, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And the Safdie brothers just continue to impress me with their work behind the camera and the people they choose to work with in terms of cinematography and the score is incredible in this movie. And, you get great performances by people that aren't even actors, like Julia Fox, who's a brand new, Kevin Garnett, who's a basketball player. Just all, I love just how, all the background actors in this movie, they're just guys that the Safdie brothers just ran into and was like, hey, we want you in our movie, man. If you go on their Twitter, there's a certain character in the movie who they met a day before shooting, and they literally just kept texting him dude, be in the movie, man. And he was like, fine, I'll do it. So I love everything that they do, and I love Adam Sandler. I think he's a really great guy, and I'm gonna definitely give this a go. I think you should go see it.
So I've always been, my philosophy with Adam Sandler has always been that I'm so sick of his comedic stuff.
It's not for you, though. He does it for his fans.
I could be a fan, but if he made good movies.
But people like those movies. That's what I need. That's what
it's not true cinema.
Yes. Those movies are horrible. But what I've come to understand, there is a big audience for his movies, at least streaming-wise, I think.
All right.
They love him, and
whatever. I ultimately,
it keeps a roof over his head, and I respect him for it.
It keeps many roofs over his head.
And he puts all his friends in it, and it's just like if me and you were making a movie, we put all our friends.
I'd make a better movie than Grown Ups 2. I'll say that. No, maybe not Grown Ups 1, but better than Grown Ups 2. But I don't know. I've always I kind of detest his comedic stuff. Minus a couple of them. But his dramatic work, I've always said, ever since I saw Reign Over Me, he is an incredibly talented, dramatic actor, and I just wish he did more of it. In this, he's great in this movie. Mm-hmm. Do I think necessarily he should be in the conversation for top 5 best of the year? No.
I don't either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but he's great in this movie, and he does lean into some of his comedic timing and everything that he has, those sensibilities. He does lean into that a little bit.
So you do think he's funny?
In certain contexts, when he's got a good writer. One thing I really liked, I agree with you, everything about the frantic nature of the movie. Yeah. I love just how there was so much overlapping dialogue. Mm-hmm. There was 5 different conversations
going on. Seems like a real conversation between angry people.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're in a room, and you know how in a movie where you'll be in a room and there will be different conversations going out, but you're tuned into one, and the other ones are kind of background members. In this, all the conversations are mostly at the same level, and it just has that level of realism. And it's for you to kind of tune into who you're going to listen to. And it sort of overwhelms your senses, which is the exact same feeling that the whole movie has. It's all about this sort of the long-form anxiety and the overwhelming you, and you feel the same sort of, I was going to say overwhelming, but I don't think that's a word.
I think it might be.
Overwhelmingness? I don't know. Who knows? That Adam Sandler's character has. And so I thought it did a really good job of that. It's not going to be one of my favorites of the year or anything like that, but I will definitely give Uncut Gems a go.
Nice.
So question is, what do you guys think? If you had a chance to see Uncut Gems, did you like it? Did you not like it? Would you give it a go? Would you give it a no-go? Leave your spoiler-free thoughts in the comments section below. And we're going to move on here to our final go or no-go. Fresh from last night, we saw the first 2020 release, Yikes. The Grudge. This is
not as bad as Cats.
No, I give it a couple decimal points higher than Cats. Just a couple, though.
At least there is somewhat of a plot in this movie. But
that's a loose somewhat.
Yeah, honestly, now, again, I guess I'll just start.
Yeah, go ahead.
The more I thought, this movie really felt like 3 different movies shoved into one. There was a separate kind of story being told with John Cho and his wife, and there was a separate story between the older folks, and then there was a separate story between the police officers that kind of delved a little into all 3 of them, but not really. It just felt like just too many ideas shoved into one movie. Yeah. And then we got no sort of coherent sense of what was going on in this movie. I just don't... When I left the movie, I don't know what was the Grudge. What even...
exactly.
It was just some entity. And then, but you go and you learn online, and the Grudge is supposed to be... It's supposed to be something that kind of attracts to people who are who have a grudge against this. So then going back on the movie, I could see, okay, I understand why, so that would happen to that character, why that would happen to that character.
It's never clear in the movie.
But it's never clear in the movie, and it's never delved up. We don't get any mythology behind the creature in this movie. It's just, it could have been anything.
Yeah, literally.
You could have called this movie anything.
Yeah, The House would have been probably a better title.
Exactly.
But...
And the performances were fine, but they were nothing to elevate this movie. And I thought the direction was really sloppy, too. You have scenes where, it ends in, some kind of, a jump scare almost, but, you don't even see the characters react to it.
Yeah.
It just cuts to something else. And, it's a non-linear story, and it gets very confusing. You'll have one scene start here and one scene start there, and then... the ending of that scene happens here, and I'm like, well, it doesn't really flow together well. Yeah. And I don't know. The score I thought was okay, and it was well shot, but overall, I'm giving this a no-go. It's just a cheap horror movie that could have been something more, because I think
it was something more with the original movies.
I think they actually had some good ideas in this movie, and and really good actors too. But there was just nothing. See, you understood why this movie bounced around.
Yeah,
it's just an incomplete movie. I feel like.
Yeah, one of the things I was saying after we got out of the movie was a lot of the horror that happens in it.
Yeah,
I could see how those on paper, someone would be like, "Oh yeah, this is really creepy. Like this will happen, and then this happens." But then when you see it happen on screen, it has no weight because you, like you said, like you did a great job explaining the whole non-linear story thing.
Yeah,
it had no substance to it. It just was so dull. Like I didn't care enough to try to piece together how this was all happening. Like, again, on paper, having this sort of non-linear story about all these different stories happening within this house, like, that could be a really cool concept.
Yeah.
And that could be really interesting if there was, like, a baseline mystery that you're trying to unravel and you're getting all the clues.
There was no through line between any of the stories.
Exactly. It just was different scenes happening.
Yes.
And with different groups of characters that you would cut between. And then at the end, it loosely tries to bring it all together, but it has no weight to it.
No.
None of the horror had weight. And you said that you were talking about the score. One of the things that I was thinking about the score was it was fine. For whatever reason, it just didn't feel like the score fit the movie.
The movie had so many different... Like, was it trying to be a drama or a horror movie?
I don't know.
A mixture of both, but, like, it just never worked.
Yeah, it was it was plain and it was dull all the way through.
Very dull.
All the characters were like paper thin. There was no, there was no part of it that was actually scary. There was, and I don't want to give any context or spoilers, but at the very beginning, there's one shot that you had mentioned involving a garbage bag. Yeah. That was cool
at first, and then they ruined it.
And then they ruined it.
Yeah.
But nothing was scary because literally all it was, hey, let's have a face like or something in the background.
They have scenes like kind of harkening back to like Silence of the Lambs, which could have been cool, but like at that point in the movie, like I'm just not taking it seriously anymore, and it's hard to kind of like
a lot of people in the theater were laughing.
Exactly, like if you start off so bad, it's tough to like scenes where they could be some promise. It's tough to gain the audience back. I don't know.
Horror is one of those things where it's such a fine line between you has no weight, no substance. People are just laughing at it, and it's genuinely terrifying. So it's one of those things. Like I was watching, I was like, on paper, they're doing everything right.
Yeah.
In that. The way they structured the horror, having things in the background, not an over-reliance on CGI. You know, some of those things... I will
give them credit for that.
Some of those things, like, on paper, those are good ideas. Yeah. But then when it just didn't translate to screen in any sensible way. It was just, The Grudge, I give it a no-go as well.
It almost felt like one of those A24 horror movies where it's kind of relying on characters and stuff like that, but mixed with, like a studio like kind of jump scare horror movie, and it just didn't work. It didn't know what it was. But I am actually disappointed about it. I think this could have been a good movie with with more care put into it.
So I think we both give it no-goes. I will go and try to see the original. Find that somewhere.
I would be more interested in seeing that now.
So anyways, question is, guys, what do you think? Have you had a chance to see The Grudge yet? If you have, what did you think? Would you give it a go, a no-go? Leave your spoiler-free thoughts in the comments section below. And now we move on here to the main topic of today's episode, and that is talking about our most anticipated movies of 2020. Yep. This I'm excited to talk about because this is always one of my favorite lists to do. Pardon me. So, how this is going to work is I'm first going to talk about my top 10. We'll talk about your top 10. If we have overlapping ones, we'll just talk about it at the same time to save a little bit of time. So let's get right into it. And I'm talking about my top 10. My number 10 most anticipated film of 2020 is The Eternals. So the reason why this is on here, we have no trailer. I don't really know anything about the comic books, The Eternals. We just have the cast, the crew, all of that. Marvel has proven themselves to me so much that if they've got a movie coming out, it doesn't matter. Who were the Guardians of the Galaxy? Had no idea. I didn't know that much about Ant-Man. You know, they've proven themselves enough that they can have something like The Eternals where I know nothing about it, no concept, And I know that they're going to turn in a quality film, or at least something that they have enough there that gives me reason to be interested in looking forward to it, even if I know nothing about it. So, Eternals makes my number 10. It didn't pop up on your list.
I'm definitely excited for it, but I want a little I want a trailer or something.
I'm sure.
Before.
And maybe it goes up higher than 10
but
when
it's a
we
Marvel
have a trailer.
movie, I'll see it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my number 10. And my number 9 is another Marvel movie, and that is Black Widow, which I really like the trailer for Black Widow that came out.
I thought it was okay.
This seems like they're going in like a James Bond espionage route.
Yep.
I mean, I was never clamoring for a Black Widow movie. Like, she was always one of the characters that I liked her as a supporting character, and I would have been fine with a solo movie, but it was never top of my list. There were other characters I would have been more interested in.
And at this point where she's already, like, spoilers for Endgame, she's already dead, and, like, do we need to go back to this? Like, that's I'm curious about that.
But I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's how I've kind of been feeling. But I like Scarlett Johansson. I like the character. The trailer was really what I would want from a Black Widow movie. And it's Marvel. And so, same token as Eternals, they're putting out a movie, I'm going to be interested. So, who knows? Maybe Black Widow's a huge bag of shit. Maybe Eternals is a big bag of shit. We don't know. But right now, looking at it from here, Black Widow is my number 9. And my number 8 is another movie I know virtually nothing about. Yeah. And that is Edgar Wright's new movie, was it Last Night in Soho. Yeah. And literally, the only reason that this is on this list is because it's Edgar Wright.
I agree.
He made what I contend to be the second best film of the entire decade with Baby Driver. I thought Baby Driver is a movie that's in my top 20 of all time. I think it is absolutely brilliant. And while I don't love all of Edgar Wright's movies, I think Shaun of the Dead is great. I love that movie every time I see it. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a very good movie. He has a lot of like really good ones. And with Baby Driver, of course, being my by and far all-time favorite. And so Edgar Wright's got a new movie coming out. I'm interested. I'm excited. That's why it's on my list.
And it's on my list, too, primarily for the exact same reasons. I love Scott Pilgrim, and I love Baby Driver, and I will see anything this guy sees. And especially in a year that I find, at least on paper right now, is a little weak. Even with no information, I would put it on the list. Because, I think it... I'd rather see that than Black Widow, even though I have a trailer for Black Widow.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, all right.
I forget, I don't know where it was on my list, but...
We'll find out soon enough. And my number 7 is one that I was not expecting to be on my top 10 at all, and that is for Ghostbusters Afterlife. And mainly because I thought the trailer that came out for this movie was great.
I agree.
I thought it pitched the perfect idea for how you do a Ghostbusters sequel. And I just love the idea of them, like, discovering the old Ghostbusters and, like Paul Rudd's like, oh, you didn't know that this was going on? And, like, does it feel a little familiar with kind of some of the other...
Or, like, Super 8, Stranger Things, stuff like
that. Or any of the other, like, sequels, like, oh, we have a movie that came out 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yes.
Let's do the sequel. And, like, it has a similar feel.
You didn't know about the Ghostbusters?
It has that similar feel to it. But at the same time, I feel like, especially having seen the 2016 Ghostbusters... Ugh. Like, which I didn't absolutely hate. I didn't really care for it, but I didn't absolutely hate it. But seeing this trailer made me think, no, this is the Ghostbusters movie they always should have made. Mm-hmm. This felt like the right direction to go in. And even though I'm not, like, a huge self-professed Ghostbusters fan, I really like the trailer. I really like the cast. I love Jason Reitman as a director. I think he's a fantastic director. And so I'm very excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, wasn't on my list, but it was close with that trailer. It was a great trailer, and I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah. And my number 6 is a movie I know is higher on your list, and that is Dune. So maybe it would be a little higher on my list if we had a trailer.
Yeah.
But right now, I mean, it's Denis Villeneuve, who is one of the best working right now.
Might be... Well, I mean,
Nolan's
not accolade.
Working.
Yeah, probably
Scorsese's working.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's one of the best. Prisoners, Sicario Arrival, which I wasn't the biggest on, but still.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner 2049. Enemy, yes, I forgot about Enemy. So him doing Dune and the cast that they have for this movie is one of the best casts of the year. So maybe I never read the books. I never saw the David Lynch film or anything like that. I don't even
know what the hell this is about.
Exactly. I just know it takes place in space and it's sort of like a giant sort of galactic, almost Game of Thrones style thing. And it's just purely on my list for the cast and the filmmaker behind it.
Yeah.
And the genre too, because Denis Villeneuve does a great job. Like, just look at Blade Runner 2049. He handles science fiction so elegantly. Mm-hmm. And so it's on my list. I know it's higher on yours, but for me, it's my number 6.
And I guess I'll just talk about it now. I have it 2 on my list, and the reason I have it number 2 is primarily just the filmmaker. I think he's probably the 3rd best filmmaker working today behind Scorsese and Nolan, who also will pop up on this list. And I love there isn't a movie I don't at least like a lot. Like Sicario and Arrival, I think are probably, in my opinion, his 2 weakest, but I still think those movies are great. I both own them on Blu-ray. Enemy, Prisoners, and Blade Runner, all like excellent films in my opinion, and I'm just excited to see him with another big budget like he had for Blade Runner and such a great cast.
Yeah, hopefully it makes more money than Blade Runner.
Yeah,
I don't know if it will.
If it's rated R, it's gonna be hard. I don't know what the rating's gonna be.
I don't know either, but we'll find out soon enough. So Dune's my number 6, and my number 5 is Wonder Woman 1984. I really liked that first Wonder Woman movie. And the trailer that came out, I was like, this is exactly the vibe and the style that I want from this. It's a lot more colorful. It feels like Patty Jenkins got the origin story done, and now she can go all in on doing the kind of Wonder Woman movie she really wants to do. Not that she didn't want to do the origin story, but like... I always feel like once you get past the origin story for a lot of these characters, then the filmmakers kind of have free reign to really tell more interesting stories. I think Pedro Pascal looks really cool in this. Kristen Wiig, I'm waiting to see a little bit more from her. I mean, I love Kristen Wiig as an actor.
I do too. I don't know about that.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how she's used.
At least just from seeing the trailer, I feel like we got another like Electro on our hands. Was that the name of Jamie Foxx's?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't like the tone of it.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I'm waiting to see about that. And like on the surface, I'm not thrilled that they're bringing back Chris Pine. But I mean, I'll wait and see how they bring him back. I mean, maybe because one of my theories is that he's not really the Steve Trevor, and that it's Pedro Pascal's character is like doing something to kind of trick her or something like that. That, like, I feel like if they kind of go in that kind of route, but if they're like, oh, he survived by jumping into the water or something, if it's some stupid BS reason.
But even if he did that, the first movie took place in World War I. He wouldn't look like that.
Yeah.
So it has to be something. Maybe he was frozen in ice.
He wouldn't be the first Steve to be frozen in ice.
Because, it wasn't just like he just survived that plane crash and then just
He wouldn't be the first Steve or the first Chris to be frozen in ice.
I know, that is a little weird.
Yeah. But, I mean, who knows how they bring him back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those things, like, I wish they didn't. They could have done it in a different way, but, I trust Patty Jenkins. I'll wait and see how it actually happens in the movie.
I think this is on my list, too, and I'm definitely excited. I love the trailer. I really did a great job with music in the back. I thought that was really good. And I think... the scenes with like the mall and stuff like that, I think it's gonna be really cool.
And then the White House, like that whole sequence looks really cool.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
When is it? June?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
June-ish. So so that's my number 5. My number 4 is the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die. I'm very excited for this. Cary Fukunaga is directing it. Which he's done some really great work, so I'm excited to see him do it. I love Daniel Craig as James Bond. I'm glad we're getting one final movie from him as the character before he moves on from it. The trailer was great.
Yeah,
like it has that kind of classic James Bond feel. It feels a little bit more gritty along the lines of a Casino Royale, which is my
Skyfall too. Yeah,
which admittedly I'm not as big of a Skyfall fan as everyone else. But Casino Royale, I think, is fantastic, and I like Spectre a little bit more than most people.
I thought I was alright.
But I thought the trailer was great for No Time
Yep.
to Die. I especially love when he's in the car and the headlights pop up and you got the miniguns.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of really cool things. And I like the angle where, is it Naomi Harris? Who's playing the new 007?
The girl from Captain Marvel. Natasha Lynch.
Natasha Lynch, that's who it is. Yeah. Like, I like that idea of he's in retirement and he comes back and there's a new 007 and he's kind of competing with her. I think that's a really interesting, like take on the story, and I think that could be really cool. And, like, to see them, like, go head to head and then probably end up working together against Rami Malek. And I'm excited to see Rami Malek as the villain.
And they got Christoph Waltz back.
Yeah, I don't know how much he'll actually be in it, but yeah, so everything looks really cool for this movie. I'm excited, and I hope that they end off Daniel Craig's iteration of the James Bond movies on a high note.
Me too. This is on my list too, and I'm really excited for Cary Fukunaga. He's done I think one of the last decade, two of the greatest seasons of television we've gotten, with True Detective Season 1, which is excellent. And then I think Maniac, I don't think enough people talked about that show or saw it. I thought that show was it started off a little like slow, but I thought once it got going, it was really good. And I'm excited to see him with such a big property like this, because he's kind of a control freak.
Yeah.
So if they let him do what he wants, I think it should be a good movie. And with the new 007, I don't really care about that. It doesn't matter to me. But like, Natasha Lynch, people were like saying like, oh, she was one of the standouts of Captain Marvel. I thought she was fine. I don't know. I
liked her in the
I want to
movie.
see more from her, so hopefully she can deliver on this one.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say standout in that
but
movie,
like,
but I liked her a lot in the film.
I thought she was fine. I don't know. I just thought that whole movie was fine, really. Maybe it was just that.
Yeah, but and I like that premise of the
Ana
two
de Armas
competing
from Knives Out is in it with Daniel Craig again.
Yeah. So that'd be cool. I wish though that Daniel Craig was doing his Knives Out accent the entire movie. That would be great.
I hope we get a Knives Out sequel.
That'd be interesting. That would be on my most anticipated list of whatever year that is. My number 3 most anticipated is the aforementioned A Quiet Place Part 2. So this is on my list. Maybe if we didn't have the trailer, it wouldn't be quite as high, but we got the trailer. Yep. I'm really excited for this movie. We kind of already talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, but I wasn't huge on the idea of them doing another one, but the trailer was great. It looks like they got all the right pieces in place. I'm very excited for Quiet Place 2, so that ends up being my number 3.
I think it's number 2 on my list, and I'm highly excited. It was the first one was my favorite movie the year it came out, and the trailer was freaking awesome. And I can't believe we only have to wait a couple months.
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
Fast. So a good turnaround on it, and I think it's going to be
hopefully not too quick of a turnaround.
Yeah.
We'll find
I think it'll
out.
be a really good movie.
Yeah. And my number 2, I know is not on your list, and that is Halloween Kills. I am a huge fan of the Halloween franchise. I love the original John Carpenter movie. I love that's one of my favorite horror movies. And the one that came out in 2018, unfortunately, also called Halloween, so we can never tell these movies apart.
Halloween 2018.
Yeah. I love that movie. I thought it was a perfect sequel to the original. I thought the way that it kind of mirrored and reflected it while also adding new things, and the character work it did with Jamie Lee Curtis and Laurie Strode, I thought it was fantastic, and I've seen it like maybe 3 or 4 times now. I just love that movie. And so when they announced that they were doing 2 sequels, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, and they're doing them this year and next year, I couldn't wait. I was like excited, especially bringing back all the original people of the creative team behind this past one, and bringing back original cast members from the first one who weren't in the last one too. I just think now granted, they could be terrible because there was a whole string of terrible Halloween movies, but I think you have the right people in place to end this story and to tell the final 2 chapters, and I can't wait for it.
Final 2 chapters, yeah, my ass. The one thing about this franchise, they just don't know when to end it. That's why I can't get excited for these movies anymore. The Michael Myers is like, is he ever gonna die? Or is Laurie Strode ever gonna I don't know.
They erased all the other movies. Like those are all out the window.
I know. Just erase shit if it's bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah,
whatever.
So
I don't know.
So this will be a 4-film series by the end of it.
Great.
And so I can't wait for Halloween Kills personally. It's gonna be great.
We'll see. I will say about that first Halloween, the 18 one, I did like their putting comedy in. I thought it gave it more life than even the original one.
Yeah.
To be honest, I like the original one. I find it a little just kind of slow and stuff like that. But I do appreciate what John Carpenter did with that movie. Because, I mean, that was like the first of its kind almost.
Yeah. It created the slasher genre entirely.
So you got to give him props.
All right. So that's my number 2 is Halloween Kills. And my number 1 is the new Christopher Nolan movie, Tenet. Can't wait for Tenet. Nolan is my favorite working director at the moment. I thought Scorsese is yours.
Oh yeah, that's true. Favorite director that...
Keeping you honest.
Favorite director that's from Britain.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so Nolan's my favorite working director today. I just adore his movies. And his last one, not as much. But Tenet, but the trailer for Tenet was so good. The cast is so good. And I love seeing original Christopher Nolan movies. Granted, he does great, like when he does the Dark Knight movies or when he adapted The Prestige. Like,
I didn't know that. I thought
that was a book. Oh. And it was a good book, too. I read the book. By Christopher Priest.
I don't read fiction.
Oh, I did then. I did then when I read it. Like when he's adapting things, he does a good job with it.
Yeah.
Like clearly, The Dark Knight's my second all-time favorite movie. But I also just love seeing original movies from Christopher Nolan, especially something with Tenet, which is such big scale, big original idea. And the same thing was kind of true of Inception. Like these are giant movies that they give him a full budget to tell these original epics. And just our track record with Nolan is so strong. There's not
one movie that I don't think is at least like great with him. Even Interstellar, I don't know. Have you seen it since we first saw it in theater?
No, I own it, but I haven't seen it since.
Watch it again. It really like sticks with you.
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I liked it when we saw it.
I remember being a little let down by it, but like if you watch it again, you get more out of it. Yeah, Tenet's my number 1 too. I got to see the 6-minute prologue before Rise of Skywalker at the Jordan's IMAX theater. That was like so freaking crazy and awesome. I cannot wait for this movie. Great cast too. John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, finally in the big. I mean, I know it'll be Batman, but that's the year after. I think he'll get even more respect after this. You got Kenneth Branagh's in it, Michael Caine, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I think is very underrated. So I think this is gonna be a great movie. I cannot wait. Yeah, it's gonna be the highlight of my summer.
Hell yeah!
If it sucks, I'll jump off something.
All right. Well, to recap my top 10, we have Eternals at number 10, Black Widow at number 9, Last Night in Soho at number 8, Ghostbusters Afterlife at number 7, Dune at number 6, Wonder Woman 1984 at number 5, No Time to Die at number 4, A Quiet Place Part 2 at number 3, Halloween Kills at number 2, and Tenet at number 1. So that brings us, Rob, to your top 10. The good list. Yeah, so walk us through, what is your top 10 of 2020?
Right. Some of these I've talked about, pick across them after, but whatever. Number 10, we're going to do Trial of the Chicago 7. Is that the name of the movie, or did they change it? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, and if they did, whatever. I looked it up, I guess they hadn't changed it.
It's the new Aaron Sorkin movie, and it's clearly on. It's just on here just because of name recognition alone. Aaron Sorkin, I think, is probably one of the best writers working today.
He's my favorite writer.
And he did a great job with Molly's Game, and I love his screenplays. And this is a pretty interesting story about 7 group of men who are on trial for this. And you got a great cast. You got Joseph Gordon-Levitt back, and you got Michael Keaton. And I'm surprised. I'm interested in seeing Sacha Baron Cohen in a more dramatic kind of role, and Eddie Redmayne's in it. And I just think I bet it will be like an Oscar contender next year, right? As long as everything goes according to plan. I don't think Aaron Sorkin's ever wrote anything that wasn't great. Can you even think of something?
No. Yeah, he's a phenomenal writer.
He's another guy who's like impeccable. So. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. If I were to do like a number 11, this would probably be it. Like I said, Aaron Sorkin's my favorite working writer today. And what he did with Molly's Game, I thought was fantastic.
Very underrated movie.
A great directorial debut. Yeah. I'm very excited to see him even step further into directing, and the cast he has is great. The story sounds interesting, so I'm all for it.
All right, and my number 9 is Last Night in Soho, like I talked about, Edgar Wright. I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
And so that's why that's on there. And number 8 is Wonder Woman 1984. If we hadn't got the trailer, I probably wouldn't have put this. Probably wouldn't have put it on here, just because it's just, I don't know. I kind of starting to get a little tired of superhero movies, but I did really like Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman, I thought
not on my show.
I thought this trailer was really good. Besides the Christian Wiig thing that I am nervous about, and I am nervous about Steve Trevor, but I'll trust Patty Jenkins to this point. So we'll see what happens. Number 7 is one you didn't talk about, The Invisible Man. This is one where it comes from Lee Winnell, and we're not really fans of Upgrade, but I was excited for them to do the monster movies again, but in a more horror route,
which they should have done from the first place.
Not the Mummy in the Dark Universe or whatever. And this trailer I thought was awesome, but it did spoil too much at the end, and I really wish we didn't know that part. But I love the story, the aspect of, is she crazy or not? I guess she's not crazy because, but at least maybe the other characters in the movie will think she's crazy, which will add to good tension. And I think it's going to be a really good movie. I bet it'll be really successful too. Yeah,
So I didn't put Invisible Man on my list. It was on the list for a little bit, and then it got bumped.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited. I pretty much echo everything you said. Not a huge fan of Upgrade, but I thought the trailer was really good. Wish it didn't spoil too much, as it did. But I'm glad Universal's trying to go back to the horror roots. And I love Elizabeth Moss, and I think she looks great in this movie.
She's really good.
So I'm very excited for it.
Number 6 is a movie that I don't think anybody's talking about. The trailer just came out. I've been excited for it before the trailer, but now the trailer's come out, and I think this movie's going to be so kick-ass. I can't wait for it. Have you still not seen the trailer?
No, I haven't. Sorry.
Sure. This movie's going to be awesome. It's called Promising Young Woman. It's Carey Mulligan. She plays this girl who's had a bad past, and now she goes to bars and pretends to act drunk and gets these innocent guys that are just like, oh, I'll take you home, and they try to take advantage of her, and then she reveals that she's not actually drunk, and then she gets her revenge. Oh my god! And she's wearing this it almost looks like if Harley Quinn was in real life, almost like.
You just sold me on the movie.
It looks batshit. You got to see the trailer. And Carey Mulligan is so underrated. She was so good in how was the name of the one she was in with Jake Gyllenhaal? And Paul Dano made it.
That movie was
great. Oh, what the fuck was the name of it?
I don't know. Whatever.
That movie was great. You should go see that. She's really underrated, and it has an interesting cast too. You got the guy who played McLovin in it. Like you get all these cool actors in this movie, and I think it's going to be a good one.
Nice.
And number 5 is, I think this movie's going to be bonkers, and it's rated R, and I think it's going to be crazy, just like I thought the last movie was going to be crazy. We'll see. The Harley Quinn, what is it? Birds of Prey,
and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
I don't even give a crap about the title. I just think I love Margot Robbie, and I love her as Harley Quinn, and I just think this is kind of going to be like what the Suicide almost should have been. Suicide Squad should have been, which we're gonna get again. But I think this is gonna be a hard R-rated comic book movie, and I think Warner Brothers proved they did a great job with Joker, and I think they're going to do a good job with this. I love the style it has. I love the music choices and everything. And you got Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who I think is really good in one of the roles too. So, and Ian McGregor, he looks like he's having a great time. So I'm excited for it.
I'm not as enthused as you. I thought the trailer was fine. I don't know. I don't want to put too much stock in just a rating. I am more encouraged that it is rated R, but that's not going to be my pendulum swing into going, oh yeah, now I'm excited. But I do really like as much as I absolutely hated Suicide Squad, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was one of the best parts. And so to see a movie that's more focused on her, that I'm excited about, but I don't know. The trailers haven't really done it for me.
That's all right.
And I'll wait. Maybe it's great.
There's a Red Band trailer coming out this week.
Good.
So maybe you'll change your mind.
So I'm rooting for it. I hope it's great. I don't have as much excitement or anticipation as you do. But they should have called this Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey or something like that. The title is so stupid because
I agree with that.
Every time that the trailer used in the theater, it goes, Birds of Prey, and then the emancipation of... I'm just, like, trying to read it, and I feel everyone in the theater is like, wait, what? Trying to read that. Like, just call it Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. There you go. Good.
I agree.
Send me your check to DC.
That's the one thing I'll say is not working.
The title, or just Birds of Prey.
I don't understand why all these movies just friggin' just don't call themselves, like, what they... Like, I don't want to go off track, but I feel like Doctor Sleep could have did a lot better if they just called it The Shining Doctor Sleep. I know, like, but that's the name of the book. But, like, you're trying to make money so we can get more of these movies, and I don't know. It just makes me a little...
I would agree with putting The Shining in the title. I don't think I would have liked The Shining : Doctor Sleep.
The Shining should have been in there.
Doctor Sleep, a Shining story.
What the hell was Rogue One, a Star Wars story, or whatever? No, The Fast and Furious presents.
Yeah, The Shining presents.
But I understood it though. It's stupid, but I understand it.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next four, we'll go quickly because we already talked about James Bond. I liked Skyfall a lot. I think that's my favorite one. And Spectre was okay. And I'm excited to see not James Bond. Daniel Craig do one last one. I think he's a really good actor. And Cary Fukunaga is excellent. So
you're number 3.
4. Number 3, Dune. Denis Villeneuve.
Denny.
Yeah.
Villeneuve.
What kind of money, Denny? He's excellent.
Stop ganging up on me.
He makes excellent movies. He makes pure cinema, and you have a great cast. And I love sci-fi movies, and I think this is going to be a big epic. So that's on there. Number 2, Quiet Place 2. I think this is like the 4th time I talked about this movie today. I really want to see it. So that's number 2. And number 1 is Tenet. Nolan, I guess he's my second favorite director.
There you go.
I've said. But again, he doesn't miss for me either. And I like a lot of these movies on here were just strictly on it just because of the directors and their track record and how they just do not miss. And Nolan, he's one of the kings, and I don't think he's gonna miss with this one.
Yeah. So if you want to recap your full top 10 list real quick.
10 is The Trial of the Chicago 7. 9, Last Night in Soho. 8, Wonder Woman 1984. 7, The Invisible Man. 6, Promising Young Woman. 5, Birds of Prey. Whatever. 4, No Time to Die. 3, Dune. 2, Quiet Place 2. And 1, Tenet.
So that's going to do it for our top 10 most anticipated movies of 2020. Question is, guys, what are your most anticipated movies of 2020? Do you agree with our list? Do you disagree? Is there anything that you think should have been on our list that we didn't talk about? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And now we're going to jump over real quick to the live chat to see if we've got any questions there. And we are joined by our good friend Rich is in here.
Rich is awake.
And so, Rich is awake. So we're going to start off the questions. Rich asks, how was our Christmas? How was your Christmas, Rob? Or your holiday season?
It was good. I was glad to have some vacation and not have to work. That was nice.
Yeah.
Saw some movies. Ate some food.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, it was about the same, just kind of spent some time with family, saw some movies, got some movies. Yeah, so enjoyable Christmas. How would you interpret the title of Halloween Kills? You could take it if you'd like.
Because you couldn't call it Halloween 2 because there is a Halloween 2. That's why.
No, I mean,
sorry, Rich. I don't mean to be rude.
Well, first of all, I think the 2018 one should have been Halloween Returns.
Or something. I don't
Call
know.
it Halloween, Halloween Returns, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. Yeah. I think it was just kind of, they're trying to keep like a consistency with the titles. And, I mean, he
should
kills.
Be like Halloween Revenge, maybe, if Michael Myers is coming back.
Halloween's Revenge or something. That would have been cool. I don't know. I don't put too much stock in the title. I don't think it means anything super significant.
The only thing that the title should just be there to just like get the audience to come into the movie. I feel like it shouldn't. It necessarily doesn't. I don't really care for really what it means to the movie by the end of it.
Yeah. So, anyways, So that's. I don't think there's too much to interpret. I think it's just kind of the title. Are you in favor of either solar power or electric cars?
I don't care. Solar power, like, it makes sense. Electric cars, they're too expensive. If they could lower the price and make them affordable for everybody, I would be into it.
Well, the only reason that we're not completely electric with cars right now is that there's still sort of the monopoly of the car industry that it's more profitable for them and for gas and for oil and all that. Electric or solar power makes so much sense, and it would save so much money ultimately, and it would save so much in terms of the environmental damage. So I am absolutely, I think all cars should be electronic. Solar power, I'm not a scientist. I don't know how that would work.
You're not?
No. If they can figure that out, but I think electric cars are a no-brainer, and I hope that we go further towards that, because the days of gas and oil are long overdue. It follows up with, are you in favor of self-driving cars?
No. Yeah. I don't fucking trust that.
No.
Maybe it's my fucking, like, the aliens are out to get us attitude, but, like, maybe I've just seen too many movies and shit, but, like,
that would kind of terrify me.
That scares me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it will eventually happen.
Yeah, probably.
But, like, but I don't know. Part of me will always be nervous. Man. I mean, to be fair, I am sure that the amount of, like, risk there is in driving your own car of crashing is probably about the same as a self-driving car.
At least I could blame myself, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the most terrifying idea is if you're in a self-driving car and somebody just starts
going.
Like, and maybe if it was something where it's a self-driving car, but you have the option to turn that off and take control, like almost like a cruise control, except like a longer form. Like that'd be okay, because at least if the car starts to do something funky, you can
also like. Us as, like, America, we're really going to get that lazy where we can't drive now?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus
we are.
Christ. Like, holy crap.
There's going to be entire generations of people who don't know how to drive.
I cannot stand this automated nonsense at the AMC theaters now. Put a person there and take my goddamn order. I'm sick of this.
Thanks for the question, Rich. Next question. Apparently, Cats lost roughly $100 million. Good. That is an executive losing his job at the end of the day. Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody should lose their job. Tom Hooper should not be given a big budget until he does some smaller movies again.
My question is, if you're looking at this from the developmental stage on paper, it kind of sounds like it could work. I mean, think of it this, you have the cast that they have. You have Tom Hooper, who is one of the most celebrated directors, who made the film that won Best Picture. You have one of the best, like, well-known, renowned theater productions.
But there's no good source material behind it. It's just strictly made for the stage. Yeah. Also, I mean, it is a beloved musical, but, like, at least, like, critics of musicals say it's a bad musical, I've heard, at least.
I mean, I just think if someone's pitching the idea and you have a treatment and it's literally at that stage, I can see why a studio would be like, yeah, no, that's a good idea. Now, granted, they should not put as much money as they did into it. The CGI, while I think they could, while maybe at the time they're like, yeah, let's go for this weird experimental CGI, which didn't work. A lot of things ultimately came down to it just didn't execute right. So, yes, there will be executives who lose their jobs. That's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, I refrain from saying people should lose their jobs because that's entire families that now don't have income.
But, I mean, they definitely should be...
I hope the studios and the people involved learned their lesson, and that this was not a smart decision to make. So it's gonna lose a lot of money. Rich writes, Disney is now the evil empire. All hail our Disney overlords. Again, I think that kind of falls into what I was saying before.
Mouse.
It's not really. It's not. I wouldn't call it a monopoly.
If they start buying more studios, I'd start getting nervous.
But I think at a certain point they'll run into actual monopoly laws. Yeah. Like I don't think they could just buy Warner.
I don't know. They seem to like you. Remember you were telling me that whole thing about Mickey Mouse being. It's supposed to be public domain.
Well, yeah.
But they keep like figuring out ways to get past that.
Well, yeah.
So I don't.
But that's a little bit smaller than we can now purchase other, like, tons of studios. Like at some point, the laws of monopoly, which are separate from the laws in terms of fair use and all of that, those are separate issues. Eventually, those will catch up to them. I mean, I don't think they're an evil empire. I think and maybe you're just being a little facetious there, Rich, but I think that's a little bit. hyperbolic.
They do love money.
Yeah. Well, they do love money. This whole country loves money. Rich writes, I have always viewed Collider best as a time capsule, considering it's more fun to see what didn't or didn't pan out. Oh, I think he's meaning in terms of going back and watching old Collider stuff and seeing the news topics that they... I do that from time to time, like going and watching something from AMC. Like, I remember watching an AMC movie talk like a year ago, and they were talking about, hey, so this movie called The Big Short was just announced. I think it could be really cool. And nice. like I think that's kind of fun to go back and
I haven't done it myself, but yeah,
cool. And it's also interesting to see the movies like
it is,
Black Adam just announced it's 2013.
There's so many movies that are announced that never get put off, come off the ground.
So interesting observation there. Rich writes, do you believe that theaters are in danger during the 2020s? I don't think theaters as a whole. I think what movies end up in theaters are definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we're looking at 2029 and the theater system is extinct. Mm-hmm. I think there will be less theaters, and I think there will be less theater chains, and I think less movies will have the opportunity to be in theaters. But we just had, this past year, Avengers Endgame broke the record for by a lot. Well, opening weekend and then worldwide.
I think, if anything, the only thing that could be dying is the smaller movies being in theaters.
Exactly.
I think that could get lower and lower.
I think the big budget, giant blockbuster films will, at least for the foreseeable future, will have...
Problem is, those tickets are probably going to end up being like... I wouldn't be shocked by 2030 or whatever if like a ticket for like an Avengers Endgame type of movie was like $30.
Yeah, but I think we're also heading towards a more widespread usage of movie theater subscription services.
True. I'm saying just for a standard ticket, though.
Yeah. That could happen.
Because, like, AMC, like, it'll kind of be like when you go skiing. Like, if you go skiing once, it's like $60. If you get a season pass, you'll save money if you're going all the time. Yeah.
I could see that happening. Rich writes, when I saw Rise of Return of the Jedi Redux, I saw 5 You probably mean Rise of Skywalker, would be my guess. I saw 5 trailers. 1917, A Quiet Place 2, Mulan, Free Guy, and Bad Boys for Life. Only 1917 I am excited for. 1917
Quiet Place 2 is going to be great.
Yeah. Mulan, I thought the last trailer for Mulan was pretty good, and I'm looking forward to that. I like that they're deviating from the actual animated film, and it seems like they're really going for their own thing.
Did I see dragons in it, or was I going crazy?
I don't think so.
I thought I saw a dragon. I don't know. Maybe that was Doolittle.
Free Guy, I don't know. Doolittle, yeah. Free Guy, I don't know about. Like, I think it's an interesting concept, but
is it going to be rated R?
I don't know.
I think it could be maybe cool if it was rated R. I don't know. I'll see
it. And Bad Boys for Life.
No, fuck that.
Yeah, get that out of here. But yeah, 1917. Out of all those, 1917 is the one I'm probably most excited for at this point. If you're not excited for the film Clemency, then there's something wrong with you.
I want to see that a lot, but I don't know where it is. I'll have to get it on like VOD. Yeah. So
I don't remember off the top of my head
Alfred
which one
Woodard, and she's a warden at a death row prison or something like that. It looks really good. Huh. I don't know if she'll get nominated for an Oscar, but I wouldn't be shocked if either her or Cynthia Erivo slip in that 5th spot. Yeah. So we'll see.
Rich writes, one critic that I have been listening to for the past 14 to 15 years says the box office is going to be in for a rough year and might be a wash. 2021 looks like it might be a rebound. I mean, to an extent,
I think he might have a point. This year is a little weaker than last year. There's some big movies, but then there's a lot of just retreads and stuff like that I don't think people... They're saying... Bad Boys 2 is going to make $40 million. I really don't see that.
Bad Boys 3.
Whatever the fuck. And Doolittle, I don't think that's going to do good. And there's a lot of movies I just do not think are going to make a lot of money this year.
And when you look at what typically comes out as the big movies of the year, we don't have a Star Wars this year.
No.
We have Marvel movies, but Black Widow or Eternals are not going to be an Avengers Endgame. They're not going to be...
There's no Avatar yet.
No. And Tenet's going to make a lot of money. Yeah. It might not. It probably won't make $1 billion, so it'll be under. It could,
we'll see. It has potential.
Fast and Furious 9 is probably going to make a good amount of money, but we don't have a ton of those giant films of the year like we have in the past few years. So I agree. I mean, it'll probably be a more lackluster. Do you think we'll have... How many billion-dollar films do you think we'll have this year?
Oh, I'd have to go through all.
Maybe one or two. It would be
probably
interesting.
Fast and Furious will get it. Well, we did. Remember we did that... We did a show about it.
Yeah, well, we talked about what we thought would be the highest-grossing film of the year.
No, we did one where we picked 3 that we thought would do $1 billion.
I think that was part of that conversation.
No, we did a full show.
Oh, okay.
I was at my house and you were in Fitchburg.
Oh, yeah.
And I picked like Fast and Furious and Venom and one other one, and then you picked 3 others.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you picked Minions.
If that still comes out.
Yeah. No, it is. There's a trailer coming soon.
All right. So, yeah, well, I do think that would make $1 billion. Yeah. The last one made $1 billion a lot, and those are still very popular.
I ain't seeing those fucking yellow guys.
Rich writes, what was your favorite series from last year? What do you think will be your favorite series for this year? If you're referring to, like, TV series, my favorite of last year, probably season, was Glow Season 3.
I agree with that. That was excellent.
Barry was right up there with it, though. And Euphoria was right up there.
Mandalorian was really good, too.
Yeah.
There was one I just watched, though, too, and I feel like I was talking to you about it.
Yeah.
Oh, Watchmen was friggin' awesome. Yeah. That was really good.
As for next year, I don't know. I mean, we'll get Barry Season 3.
Glow, I think.
Is that next year?
I think so.
Or that might be the year after. I don't know.
Well, if it's next, whatever. Stranger Things, I love. Euphoria, I think, is next year again.
So, yeah, any of those, I think, definitely. Rich writes, I always wanted an Avenue Q film, which is based on a hypersexual take on Sesame Street. Is that not Happy Time Murders?
Yeah, no. No more puppets with R ratings.
No more pornographic puppets. We're done.
I like Muppets. Keep it clean. I'm done with this.
I can echo that. So. Rich writes, sometimes what works on paper or Broadway doesn't work on screen. Agreed. It's all about adaptation. Now, things can work. Yeah. I think you could take anything and adapt it in a way where it works. But I think something like
Cats is they would have had to add like a whole plot to it.
Yeah, you would have to change the movie drastically. And the question is, when you're approaching it, are you doing it in a way where you're trying to just do the Broadway play to appease those fans? Are you trying to change it to make it a new movie that is going to appeal to more people? So it's a whole thing.
They made the wrong decision.
I agree, but it's all about adaptation. It's not that these things can't be done; it's that it's harder to do, and it's about you have to change the nature of it. So. It's tricky. That's why it took the comic book movies so long to get their stride going, because it takes so long to figure out how do you take a printed comic book page and turn it into an effective movie.
Video game movies still haven't figured it out.
Exactly. It's a very difficult thing. Rich writes, as for Nathaniel's list, Eternals, Black Widow, Ghostbusters, Wonder Woman 1984, Quiet Place 2, I have no interest in.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be different for people. Rich writes, Last Night in Soho, Dune, No Time to Die, and Halloween Kills. I am excited for it. Tenet, I have mixed feelings on after seeing the trailer.
Sure. Say that again? What was it?
Last Night in Soho, Dune, No Time to Die, Halloween Kills. I am excited for. Tenet, I have mixed feelings on after seeing the trailer.
I mean, the trailer does not give you like any sort of like real idea what the hell the movie's like, what the plot's gonna be or anything like that. But I like that, and I'm sure once we get another trailer, we'll kind of figure out more what the movie's about.
Yeah. Rich writes, here's an idea for your live stream. Interview the owner of the last Blockbuster store in Bend, Oregon.
How are we going to get that? we can barely get interviews as it is.
Yeah.
If you can get us in touch with them, Rich, sure,
maybe
we'll do it.
Yeah.
I used to love going to the movie stores.
Yeah.
The one right in Movie Gallery, every Saturday I'd go there. It was fun.
Part of that, part of the whole streaming thing is taking away from that.
I love just looking at physical media and touching it and looking at the cover. And, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Yeah. You gotta love...
But then I do also love, watching a movie on my laptop or my phone in my bed and, with some Cheez-Its.
You can't get the Cheez-Its with the movie gallery experience. Rich writes, as for Rob's list, no interest in Wonder Woman 1984, The Invisible Man, Promising Young Woman, and A Quiet Place 2.
Blasphemy. It's all right, Rich.
To quote Rich, if you're not interested in... Oh, where is it?
Clemency.
Right. Well, if you're not interested in any of the ones that we said on our list, then there's something wrong with you. In the words of Rich.
Go watch the trailer, Rick, for Promising Young Woman. I bet you haven't even seen it. Go watch the trailer.
I haven't seen it.
Go watch the trailer and then come back next week and tell me.
Yeah. See,
But
yeah,
Clemency,
definitely.
I will see once I get a chance.
Yeah,
Once it's
definitely.
on like VOD or something.
And the last thing from Rich: interest in Chicago 7, Last Night in Soho, Birds of Prey, No Time to Die, Dune, Tenet. As I've said, I have mixed feelings on after seeing the trailer. Yeah.
Nice.
So it seems like you're somewhat on the same page as us a little bit.
He's got
Some
like,
of the same.
he's middle of the road.
Yeah, but I'd be curious, Rich, in the comments, leave what's your top 10 most anticipated. You can leave that in the comment section. For anyone else watching, leave your thoughts on all that in the comment section. And that's going to do it for the live questions and this episode of the Movie Paradise Show.
Yeah.
Our first episode of the new year. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more content. Be sure to follow us on all of our various social medias at Movie Paradise 99. Keep your eyes out for film thoughts. Keep your eyes out for movie night tonight. Keep your eyes out for the next installment of the Movie Paradise Show next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on YouTube. I'd like to thank Rob for being here. Thanks for joining us.
No choice.
As always, per usual.